Welcome back to the garage. This week we are going to be building a tow bar for the split screen camper. Now lucky, I have a contact in the split screen van club and he has offered to make me the brackets and the mountings for the tow bar. He's done the same on his van, and basically what I've got is I've got a copy of what he's got. And what we're going to be doing is we've got the intention of taking off the tow bar in 3 sections. So we've got 2 sections that bolt onto the side or the chassis of the back of the splitty, and then a crossbar that will hold the tow ball section. I'm also making it removable so that I can take the tow ball off when not needed. I have hit the tow ball on previous vehicles with my knees in the past, so I don't want to replicate that if possible. So let's take a look at what we've got in the kit. So the first 2 sections are these brackets that will be bolted to the chassis. You've got a left and a right. We've got some spreader plates to go on the back. We've actually got a couple more, as these will be fitted in between the chassis to take some of the stress out of the unit. The bar itself is this, and like I say, I've made the tow bar removable, so I'm going to be able to take that ball off so that we don't see anything other than the mounting point on the back of the van. Now what I've also done on mine is I've put a plate on the end and I've put some threads in there along with nuts on the inside and then welded it to the end, and this then bolts onto them 2 holes there. So I'm making it so that the mountings will stay on the vehicle, but I can take that off if I need to, if I want to access the engine. So if I'm doing any engine work and I want to take the engine out, simply unbolting either end, disconnecting the electrics, and that section is removable. So let's take a look at how we did it. Now for one reason or another, there's already a bolt hole there, so all we're going to be doing is drilling 2 holes in here to go around the chassis leg. So we mark that underneath the van, and what we're going to use is this tube here to bring that around. So hopefully what will happen is we'll have to warm that up and we'll bring that around there, curve it up to there, and hopefully what I'm intending to do, once I've got the curve up to that point, I'm hoping to bring the curve right up to where the bend is. So I'm hoping to do a double curve on that, bring that there, and that will give the additional strength inside. So to put the bends on the bracket, what we did, we put that in the vise with a bit of pressure on this side. You can see it's not too difficult to bend into shape. So once I got that one done, took it back out, put the bracket the other way and did the other turn. So now we've got something that hopefully almost follows the profile of the mounting plate. So if we can get that into position there, and the last thing we're going to be doing is that radius, I can't straighten that out without taking off that. So my intention is to weld that section in about here and then get a bit of pressure on that to bring that back up, so we end up with it going straight. So it should then follow the profile of the mount. So that's the first bit on. We've now got the tacks in. Just going to tack on this corner, go over the other side, and then we can start thinking about moving that corner back. That looks fairly firm. So now I need to bring that back over. So we could hammer it, but I think possibly we'll put this bar back in and we'll just bring it back a little bit. There we go. So you can see now it follows the contour a little bit better. Get you around there. So it follows the contour a little bit better. And we've got the shape, so following the profile of the mount. So we'll just tack it, we'll clamp it up and tack the end, and then we'll try that and then see where we need to cut the end up, because this is too long at the moment. It's not going to come all this way because we've already got a curve. You can probably see if I bring you around here. Yeah, you can just about see it there. So that's where we're going to cut it off there, and that's going to finish this part of it. So we've got a piece that we may use for the spacer. So because we're dealing with some accident damage on the rear of the splitty, we are having to make changes to the tow bar mount. So on this side it's going to be a little bit more complicated with the strengthening bar, because we're having to work around existing damage. So here's this side. So this is the passenger side. So as you can see on this one, instead of creating one long bar, I'm going to have to do this and then join one across there because we've got an angle, and then joining one across there because we've got another angle. So we're now dealing with several angles, and it's not possible to get this bar to bend upwards and over and round. So we're having to modify this somewhat. So we've now just got 3 tacks in place. Just going to clean them up, and then when we've cleaned them up, we'll go outside and just check that they actually work. Good thing about these magnets, you can put them in place, get it up to your work, and then you've got the correct angle. So obviously it depends on which angle that you want to use, but I think they're a good bit of kit. It's got several angles. You can put it at that one, move it to that. Obviously you've got that one and this. Bring it on the top, you've got a inverted angle, and you bring it that way, you've got more angles. So nice little bit of kit for the workshop. And here's what we're doing. So we've got this bent around the profile, so we'll weld that in. The only bit we need to do is change the angle of that so we can get a closer, tighter fit, so that when we weld it, we're going to leave a small gap. So we just need to angle that across that way a little bit. So what I've used is, I've got some steel. I've placed that into the position where that side is as well, and we've redrawn it at this side. Not sure it's going to come up on camera. We've just gone down there with marker pen, so we've now got the angle that we need here. So once I cut that off, we should get a nice tight fit on that angle. So now we've cut that section off, we've now got an exact fit on there. But obviously when we're going to weld these two together, we need a small gap for penetration. But we chamfered off the edges so that they will sit better, we'll get better penetration. And on that side you can see there we're going to we're going to use quite a lot of weld to fill that up. So we're just going to clean up the back, get off the coating that's on here, and then we're going to weld that one on. So we'll cut a short piece off there and we'll attach that onto there. So we're going to fill this gap up here, and then I think we're done on this side. So we'll give it, I think once we've welded this section on, we'll give it another try. So looking now, you can see the heat transfer that's come through with that blowing on the joint there. So we've got penetration, it's come through. And then if I just flip it over, you can just see we've got some weld there. I'm not going to weld it completely, as I don't think it really needs it. So we'll let that cool down, and then we'll clean up the steel, and then we'll give it a try. And then once we're sure it fits, we will give it some primer. So now we've got all the bracket welded, just thought I'd stick some primer on it for now, as we will be having this powder coated at some point. So everything seems to line up okay. Obviously it's the wrong way for the van, should be turned the other way, but I've yet to prime the other side. There we go. So we cut this to length, and it's too long, so we did bite a bit too long. So basically what we're doing is just cutting the last 20mm off, and hopefully if we've done the calculations right, it will still fit on the van. So now I've got the 5mm steel, and we've just marked out the circle, and here's one I've started on. So I'm going to keep it in this shape and drill the holes accordingly to fit it on the bumper brackets, so that it will stay in the drill mount easier. If I make a complete circle, it's got a tendency to start to spin. So the idea now is that will be the diameter of the bar that we're using. Obviously it's a lot longer. That will get drilled in two places correspondingly on the bumper, and that will be welded in there with two captive nuts on the back, so that when we put it through the bracket, we put it in the plate to the nuts, it makes it secure. Sounds a bit complicated but I've got the idea in my head. So we're just moving on to our second one. So we've made us end plates for the tube, and what I've just been doing is I've just been using the tap set to cut into there. We've got quite a decent thread there, but on the underside, oops, there we go, we've also welded a couple of nuts on the back there just for security. Just don't want to rely on that plate for holding on the major bar at the back. So now we've done that, I'm going to be lining this up on the van, and then see how we go with that. So at the moment what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to relieve that little section there so I can weld that onto there. Now that's a bar diameter, so I'm just using that as an offcut. But my idea is try and get that as close to that area as we can, so we get the full welding penetration. There we go. But also what I think I might do is I might extend the sides up a little bit with some more steel at either side, so we're getting more than half of the weld on the centre pipe. Again, it's all about getting rid of that twist, or minimising the amount of twist we've got on that lever. At the moment, so we bring it back. Now we've got both cut, and what we've done to ensure that both these curves are the same is use the bolts to clamp both sections together. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fine tune the edge here just to ensure that that fits in perfectly. As you can see at the moment, it's dropping a little bit, and what we should have is they should be identical either side, so we need to make sure that they are, so that we don't get any of that, because at the moment this one is slightly larger than the back one. So once we've done this, we'll be ready to clean the sides up. So I'll do that now. So we'll clean all this up, give it a bit of a chamfer on both sides, and then hopefully we'll be able to weld this onto the bracket for the tow bar, correct the spacing, and then weld the other one in. So we are getting closer. So that's the sort of position we want to be in. So we've got clearance at this end for the back of the exhaust. We've got a nice tight fit around that area. I mean, we've got ability to bring it round into position that we want. So I think what we're going to do is going to make the other one, and then we'll tack this on, tack the other one on, and then see where the position is going to be with regards the actual lining up of the tow bar.